right, what's going on? This is Dr. Ivan Rusilko, and I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, David Morin.
What's going on, guys?
Yes, yes, yes. And we are going to get raw today in the first official podcast of No Bullshit Medicine. So we're going to get a little R-rated, going to have some fun, and hopefully help some people understand what the fuck is going on in this society today.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
But before we start anything, I have one very serious question for David that many people had raised, and you know, Dave's a very intellectual gentleman. So David,
yes,
what is your opinion of the Tiger King?
God, I'm so torn. I'm so torn about it all, man.
My husband died in October, and I just got remarried in December. Who the fuck cares?
I'm so compelled, but you know what? This is the ridiculous thing about the whole thing. In the end, who gives a fuck about the animals? No one's caring for the animals, man.
Of course not.
It's all about these other agendas, you know? It's about this girl being a fucking bitch.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
It's Carol from Big Cat Rescue.
Basically the biggest hypocrite I've ever heard.
Oh, total hypocrite.
Right?
It was, it was so apparent.
And he's just such a...
I've had some kinky sex. I have tried drugs through the younger years of my life. I am broke as shit. I have a judgment against me from some bitch down there in Florida.
I don't know what to make of him.
He is a cartoon character. You have to give him that. Granted, he's not a good dude. I mean, I've seen all kinds of videos of him abusing tigers and whatnot, which is terrible. I mean, that's a fucking bad thing. But at the end of the day, you do got to kind of feel bad for the guy. That does seem like it was a setup.
It's more like I have mercy and compassion because it's just pure ignorance.
Oh,
there's just pure ignorance there.
Okay, stupidity, it's fine.
Where she's more methodical and she's more intelligent, and you know, she probably allegedly killed her husband who had the money.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Yeah, bro, that show really is disturbing because the popularity indicates the kind of willingness the mass population during crisis seeks escape. Like, that is the most dynamic mode of escaping whatever problems we have going on. Besides, like the interesting stat was the statistics about fast food, delivery food, and Netflix or online services have gone up 60–70% during this.
For sure.
So, you know, you would figure that people would go, well, let me download a documentary about how I can increase my immunity to infectious diseases. No, motherfuckers are watching this
Meth and tigers.
Exactly. Meth, machine guns, and tigers.
Are you ready for this? Bum, 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 bum.
I mean,
dude, I'm hooked. I'm not going to lie. I think I've watched it 3 times, and I hear there's a bonus episode, so I'm like itching to get home to watch that. But you know, it does speak to kind of what we're going, you know, what's going on today with everybody so obsessed with watching a train wreck. So what happens is, I mean, that was nothing but a train wreck, that entire show. And then when you turn on, you know, Fox or CNN or MSNBC or everything, it's nothing but a train wreck, and everybody's drawn to it. And the bigger the train wreck, the more the ratings, the more this shit's going to propagate.
Heroin, sex,
coronavirus,
flamethrowers, murder. There's no story here. We've just found that ratings go up when we say those words.
Would you agree with that or no?
I do agree with it. Yeah, there's a personal amount of responsibility that intelligent people have to say, look, I'm not going to participate in anything that isn't like relevant, that doesn't have like some sense of like intellect and value behind it, because now more than ever, where your attention goes, the money flows.
Time for lunch in a cup.
For sure.
So
for sure.
if they can control the narrative, no matter how ridiculous it is, you know, Trump proved that when people were citing that he was a ridiculous candidate, but he used that to his advantage. He's actually a very smart businessman. I mean, I don't want to get political about that, but we can. Shit, we said no bullshit.
No bullshit, man.
Go
Go
for it. Bring the
it.
president up in this shit.
Fucking do it.
Let's do it, man. So anyway, a lot of people, you know, they have this whole movement of patriots called the QAnon, which have been onto this shit for years and years, and they've been putting out red pills and giving people the mainstream information about stuff that was kind of almost classified information that came to pass. So every time this information would come to pass, it would make, you know, Q more credible.
take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
And they say, well, if Trump, is in power, he should be able to control everything. Dude, it's way more complicated than that.
Trump has no control. I mean, like
there are factions.
He can control the emotions of the country, but when it comes to run the country, that is done behind closed doors.
Dude, absolutely. Well, yeah, there you go. And that now we're outlining who the real forces, the dark forces behind all this are, and the enemies that have weaseled their way into our free society through organizations like the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations, the World Health Organization, the Bilderberg Group, all these fucking cabals, that's a popular word that's going around, of all these
kind of
fucking...
like kebab.
Yeah, kebabs.
Who doesn't like a good kebab?
Exactly. All these kebabs, these secret fucking
kebabs.
fraternal kebabs. You got to know the special fucking skewer shake kebab to enter into the secret fucking palace. But, dude, now more than ever, I think there's a film documentary that I'll just say right now, if you haven't seen it, it's a brilliantly done. This girl was a very credited journalist before. She worked for all the major media conglomerates before, and they ousted her for covering the Pizzagate story. And I was like, I don't have time for this shit.
That's Pizzagate. Go ahead and Google that one. That's
Right.
definitely an interesting watch if you get a chance.
Well, I don't know how. We already got started. Like, we're coming in hot.
Yeah, we are coming in balls deep on this one, but okay.
but that's how you live, bro.
Exactly.
So, Out of the Shadows, man, is just this really well done.
So that's Out of the Shadows.
Out of the Shadows, guys.
Is the CIA involved in Hollywood?
Yes.
So I think it's 5 or 6 million views.
It's on YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay.
You can find it on YouTube. 5 or 6 million views, and in just a short number of days, it's really compelling evidence, man, and why there's blaring inconsistencies in the ability of the integrity of any reporting journalist in the mainstream to have the balls to go and stand up against the establishment and just say, look, I'm going to follow the story where it leads me. And if it leads me to some dark fucking places where there's people with a lot of money like Epstein and Weinstein and all these fuckers, I'm still going to do my job and be an honest reporter.
He obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
And here's the thing. People are scared to lose their lives. There's a track record of people behind the Clintons that have lost their fucking life. And this is all allegedly. I can't.
Again, that's allegedly, folks. Allegedly.
But the deal is people get afraid. Well, guess what? If we all stand together, no one can be singled out. I want you to say that to yourself on a daily basis. When we all stand together, no one can be singled out.
But they'll never take our freedom! They took our job! They took our job!
And that's what's happening right now. We're all standing up for what we know is right. We know there's a predatory force in the world that is seeking to undermine the freedoms and that have been preserved in this country through a document that's like the most beautiful governing document. Can we all agree that the Constitution
100%.
is the most
It's
beautiful?
fucking phenomenal.
Everyone wants to move here.
America! Fuck yeah! Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah!
America. You know what I mean?
You got all these people complaining about America, yet when you look at the statistics...
You don't like get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Look at the stats on how many people want to immigrate to this country every year.
yeah, it's astronomical.
Yeah, you don't find people in Mexico going, no.
The line is almost as long as the one in front of Trader Joe's to get in for social distancing. That's how long that line is to get into the United States of America.
Yeah. So anyway, Doc, I mean, that all dovetails right down to the attack on human beings, and that all
Human
happens-
rights in general. I mean, like it's astronomical when it comes to the amount of people. Now, I have a question for you. Do you think let's just talk about the United States. Do you think the majority of the population right now is still concerned with the virus and staying at home and not catching it?
You're wearing your mask. You're following CDC guidelines.
Or are they more concerned with the getting back to work, their economy, and actually not going bankrupt?
Yeah, I mean, I think freedom is more important than safety.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
1,000,000% on that
And
one.
I think you posted a meme the other day. It had a picture of kind of a hospital ward with a lot of doctors overseeing sick people, and it said tyranny or
Quarantine is for the sick.
Right.
You know, and then tyranny is when you quarantine the healthy.
Right, yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
And that's exactly what's going on right now. And it's terrifying. And we're doing it with open arms. You know what I mean? We're openly giving our freedoms away because 3 doctors who have political ambitions.
Dr. Fauci is on the Leadership Council for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In January of 2017, Anthony Fauci told a crowd at Georgetown University that there would be a surprise outbreak during the Trump presidency.
There is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak.
Are saying, be scared.
A frightened baby chipmunk. You are scared by anything that is different.
How many people in the United States? 200 and...
Just 300 almost,
now.
yeah, 350 million people. I mean, that's based on the census. We know there's a lot of, people in California
But yeah, and then you have, I don't know how many deaths are here, but the percentage to what this virus is actually doing is, I mean, it's not, and again, I'm not degrading what it has done. People have died from it,
yes,
but a lot more people have been diagnosed with it who have not died from it. And this is the biggest thing, which people don't understand. And again, Dr. Shiva gave one of the best interviews I've seen, and it's something that's great because it's everything that I have said, just kind of in a goofy, back-assward kind of fun way.
Unfortunately, this guy Fauci has been in this environment for nearly 4 decades across multiple presidents, and he's essentially embedded into the scientific establishment, which has created an unfortunate lie about the immune system and an unfortunate lie about the solution to something like this called a coronavirus, or more importantly, infectious disease, without any real emphasis, which is a real issue, about the fact that it is a overactive, dysfunctional, weakened immune system that overreacts, and that's what causes damage to the body.
About, all the hospitals were given certain ICD-9 codes to sit there and say, if somebody comes in with a cough, a bellyache, a gunshot wound to the head, COVID, give it to them no matter what, because the hospital gets paid for that.
That code, Christina, comes from the WHO. So for coronavirus, as I understand, they created 2 codes. One code was you explicitly, had a test and you had COVID-19. The other one was completely nebulous. Well, it sort of smells like that. Maybe he's got some chest pains. Something so broad, but it was still under the COVID.
So of course, if I'm a hospital, COVID, I'm going to make it rain COVID diagnoses all fucking day.
The doctors in the United States received a letter from the CDC, as I have found out, that went to hospital administrators encouraging them to blur both of those codes.
I just want to be clear in terms of the definition of people dying of COVID. So the case definition is very simplistic. It means at the time of death, it was a COVID positive diagnosis. So that means that if you were in hospice and had already been given a few weeks to live, and then you also were found to have COVID, that would be counted as a COVID death. It means that even if you died of a clear alternate cause, but you had COVID at the same time, it's still listed as a COVID death. So everyone who's listed as a COVID death doesn't mean that that was the cause of the death, but they had COVID at the time of death. I hope that's helpful.
So if someone comes in, they have a pre-existing condition, someone with a chest pain, COVID-19.
And a totally, I'm not going to say totally asymptomatic, but a virus that causes the majority of the population to be asymptomatic, which means you don't really exhibit terrible, symptoms of it. How are we shutting down a world economy over it? It makes zero fucking sense to me.
Yeah. I guess if you want to take kind of like the conservative approach, let's say, for example, let's take the side of the argument that it is a deadly virus. The contractability is very high. It's very aggressive onset into the respiratory distress and shuts down the respiratory system very aggressively, very quickly. Let's just say that we're all taking good measure by doing the social distancing and complying with the government regulations and everything laid down, and we all do that. But then the question becomes, at what point do these compliance to these regulations become irrational? And then at what point does it become irresponsible as a citizen of the United States who has a job, who is a taxpayer, who lives a healthy lifestyle, who exercises every day, who does everything that they do every day,
everything right,
morally and ethically to the best of their ability to be a contributor to a society that's free and healthy, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in a position where you're losing money, you've done everything right, and yet you're suffering because of this. I think it's irresponsible for an individual who does those things every day to sit back and watch your freedoms get taken away without at least having some pushback.
It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going now.
For sure.
Because even, let's say, in the medical field, you have what's called peer review. That's how you push back on, you know, someone's findings. If they say this is this and this is that, and it results in this, then you're like, okay, well, I have to replicate it for it to be consensus, for it to be peer reviewed and cited so many times. So then all of a sudden it becomes established in the medical. Same thing with any lawyer case. You cite another case where you're using this case to substantiate your claims in a recent case. You have to use all these things. It's like, at what point, as citizens, are we going to be able to cite rational information that you can all access on the internet, pubmed.gov? I mean, it's like Dr. Shiva said, if you're not following Dr. Shiva...
fantastic. And again, me and physicians don't usually get along. You know what I mean? Like, granted, I am a fully licensed doctor, and I pretty much hate traditional medicine. But this guy, he fucking nailed it. And,
he's a man,
God
right?
bless. Yeah, hey, man, rock and roll.
So you have cooking of the books for two reasons. Hospital administrators get money for the COVID-19 diagnosis, plus they also get kickbacks through what are called GPOs and PBMs for the ventilators.
So you can follow him, Dr. Shiva's, his handle is @VA_Shiva, SHIVA. And how would you describe him, man?
Again, you know, he's a very smart individual, credentialed to the teeth, but I think he's fed up as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's a situation where there's a certain point where, again, when you go to medical school, you're programmed, again, medication, treat a symptom, not cure the actual problem. And again, that's what's going on here. Everybody wants a fucking vaccine. Everybody wants to use, you know, azithromycin and hydrochloroquine. All this kind of, you know, cheap, quick fixes. Fix your fucking immune system. You know what I mean? Like, you got to think. And again, personally, I would happily go on record saying, I'm guessing the population of the United States, 75% have had COVID at one point. You know what I mean? Like, for sure. So if you put that in the overall equation of how lethal this virus is, because now we have hardly any testing, because everybody's going to test positive for the antibodies.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, so that death rate drops down to laughable. And again, I'm not saying laughable when it comes to the people who have, you know, truly died of this virus, because there are people who have truly died of this virus.
Yes.
But there are a hell of a lot of cases where death has been attributed to it when they haven't died from it.
Yeah.
And again, that's what people, and again, this is where it comes back. You can Google all you want, you can research all you want, use your common fucking sense.
Right.
You know, I mean, common sense is not common in this society or the world, which is the most terrifying thing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the way they attack the human psyche with all this kind of, like, you know, fear. I mean, that's how your choices get affected. Like, your choices on an individual basis every day affect the outcome of your immunity to anything. And like, the whole fear thing is just like, man, that's how they get that virus in your head from the start.
And then again, what does fear do to your immune system?
Yeah.
It fucking cripples it.
Now we are fucked.
Exactly.
What does social distancing and staying at home do? Cripples it. Diabetes goes up. Mortality goes up. Cardiovascular disease go up. Addiction. Wait till you see how many opiate addictions go through the roof. Depression, suicides, everything. Because it's just, I mean, the amount of fallout for healthy people surrounding this virus is going to be fucking astronomical. That's going to be what the pandemic is, not this fucking virus that, you know, I've had, I mean, everybody's more than likely had. And
Cause and effect.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this from a physician's perspective, right? So initially, the physicians recommend the social distancing protocol and the stay-at-home orders and the quarantine because they want to flatten the curve, right? Which is just basically you want to lay things out to where the infrastructure of healthcare can attend to this huge influx, which they anticipated, this huge wave of sick people, right? And they didn't have the equipment to facilitate care. So let's say, for example, on the flip side, right? Wouldn't that same thing happen to the herd immunity?
Herd immunity. The expectation is that enough people will become infected with the virus that they develop immunity. This would stop it spreading widely and protect the vulnerable. Here's an example. We know that each person who catches the virus is likely to pass it to between 2.4 and 3 others. But if enough people develop immunity, then transmission is reduced considerably because there are fewer susceptible people.
Amen.
Wouldn't you wouldn't you shorten the wave, which is what you don't want to do when it comes to the herd immunity, by vaccinating people, like, for example, if you vaccinate a large swath of the population, doesn't that impair the herd immunity to this?
1 million. And again, when you think about it, we're clamoring for a vaccine that has been untested. You know, this virus popped up in what? Supposedly in March, February, whatever it could be. And everybody's like, we need a vaccine now, a vaccine now. People don't even understand what a vaccine fucking is.
Vaccines work by exploiting the immune system's memory. Vaccination simulates an infection, training the immune system and enabling it to develop weapons to fight back. This is done by introducing a germ which is dead or inactive, or just a fragment of the germ, into the body. The vaccine triggers an immune reaction without causing the illness. The organism produces lymphocytes which memorise the invader and antibodies in preparation for any future attack. The power of these antibodies and lymphocytes tends to diminish over time, which means top-up vaccinations are sometimes necessary.
So they're clamoring for something that's untested. Then we have the Bill Gates, which we'll get to in a second, okay? So what happens is, you know, the whole aspect of immune memory. And again, this is where, I mean, we are exposed to 420 trillion, different types of pathogens, viruses and bacteria daily. I mean, we're covered in them from our heads to our toes to our insides. And our immune system keeps those in, you know, that's the check and balance of what goes on. You know, we have good ones and bad ones. So what happens, if you start social distancing people, you bring their immune system down. Now, wait till next year. What do you think is going to fucking happen next year? Everybody's immune systems now have just taken a year off. You're going to see a wave of a real virus, influenza, cripple people. And then COVID, that's coming back next year. You're going to be 0.2 next year. You know what I mean? Like, and the whole situation is fear factors. Everyone's going to start doing this. Amazon stocks going to go through the roof. Apple's going to go through the roof. Why?
100%.
Because it's a fucking manufactured disease that's being peddled by politicians and by fucking TV doctors who have fucking political agendas. Fauci is fucking horrible. Oh, he's so credentialed. He's done this for years. He's done this for years. He's peddling nothing but a cheap cure that does nothing to it with shit information.
Right.
Look what happened in New York and where they sent all the ships. Didn't need them. The amount of respirators, we made way too fucking many. Why? Because you're relying on numbers that we have no fucking clue. Because it's a disease that doesn't really exist.
Yeah, you know, I think it's the last attempt at a bunch of older people who invested their whole life in an antiquated business model that have all the resources at their hands right now, and it's a last grab. It's like kind of like the oil companies know, like, you know, oil and petroleum based, like our whole civilization basically has been built off of oil, and like it's dying. So what happens is all those people are clamoring for means to maintain that kind of control mechanism, and they know that we're going to go solar, we're going to go free energy, we're going to go Tesla, we're going to go here. And they're kind of like, fuck, not yet. We still want to squeeze a little bit of blood out of humanity, you know, while we can. And so this is the kind of this insidious kind of like those control mechanisms from back in the day established by those industrial families that we can talk about, like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all those people that own the Queen, that own the royalty,
that own the world.
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the crazy things, I don't know if you've known about
this. By the
way,
I am up for adoption if any of those people are listening to this.
I'd gladly be the black sheep in your family. You know, it's kind of like tobacco, right? I mean, when they got busted, tobacco is the largest, Philip Morris is the largest producer of patches. So they'll fuck you on getting you hooked, and then they'll fuck you on the cure. And
for sure.
So maybe the Rothschilds want to work on a good business idea to like cover up the bullshit, and now they want to fucking work a deal with humanity. Well, then we can broker that deal.
Exactly, 100%. One of the best memes I saw, it was a picture of Bill Gates holding up I don't know what the fuck he was holding up, probably a dildo knowing him. And the whole concept was, it was like, make a computer, make a virus, make the spyware, or the antivirus. Create a virus, create a vaccine.
Do it for humans.
Exactly. It's a situation. It's like, I mean, like, and again, I like to equate what's going on. But before, again, I just want to, this is geared towards the healthy population. I'm not in any way taken away from what's going on.
Yeah, it's
People
very
have
serious.
lost their jobs and lost their lives. Again, I'm speaking
serious.
more in generalities to the majority of the population. But if you look at it, I mean, take global warming. We all know that's going to happen. It's happened every 10,000 years or whatever it was since the dawn of time.
Yes.
Okay, and then what you know, what's happened? Oh, we got to fix this. We got to fix this. It's going to come back next year. It's going to be same thing with this virus. Viruses have been here since the dawn of time. Right. There will be a virus next year. There will be a virus after that. It's just literally sitting there and taking something that's already in the environment happening and profiting off of it.
Well, carbon is not a pollutant. So let me get everyone to understand.
We're all made of carbon.
Carbon is, we're carbon-based life forms. If it wasn't for carbon, we'd all be dead. By the way, the molecular structure of carbon is 666.
Oh,
so
wow.
just to give you some more conspiracy fodder to think about things. But anyway, you know what? It's hard to become objective about something like global warming or whatever it is, because if we're unique, it's so egoic to think that we can cause. It's like that George Carlin skit where he's like, the ego of the people, save the whales, save the planet, save the fucking planet.
We're so self-important, so self-important. Everybody's going to save something now. Save the trees, save the bees, save the whales, save those snails. And the greatest arrogance of all, save the planet. What? Are these fucking people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't even know how to take care of ourselves yet. We haven't learned how to care for one another. We're gonna save the fucking planet? I'm getting tired of that shit.
It's like we're a surface nuisance on the planet.
100%.
But you know what leads to this kind of this misplaced care, where it seems as though that caring for the earth or caring for species is something that morally and ethically is the right thing to do. First of all, the fact is 99% of all species that ever lived on the planet are dead. It had nothing to do with us. But when they lay out the narrative of, we can clearly tell the world through our media, through the data that we collect, we can tell the world that we caused an effect, right? Mm-hmm. And so because they're so quick to illustrate this with such exact facts and information, that it's observable that we know that we cause an effect, and that if we cause that effect and it's detrimental, we should all get together to do something about it, right?
So, any ideas how we can stop the future from happening?
How about we cause more global warming so that in the future the polar ice caps melt and it ushers in a new ice age?
How the hell is global warming gonna cause an ice age?
Well, you know, the global warming could bring on like a climate shift or something.
Chet, you are a fucking retard. You know that?
For sure.
But that sounds like a good, noble, moral thing to do, right? Like, conduct yourself as a good person. Like, you as a person, you can see when you bump into somebody, you cause harm and you say, I'm sorry. But when it comes to like this whole plan of global warming, when we're told that carbon is a pollution, first of all, is a lie. Second of all, when we're looking through a magnifying glass of what we do and how it impacts the world detrimentally, we're just being told that from their perspective, and ultimately all it really does is it generates a reaction, what's a reaction? Tax dollars. That's all they care about. It's all about taking your tax money and funneling to the next thing, which is just going to keep them rich and in control. That's the bottom line. They don't care about the planet. They don't care about your health. They don't care about anything else about giving you more power or more control or more votes or more anything, or they don't care about destabilizing them and their power and their control. They don't care about the fucking planet. They don't care about space. They don't care about any of that shit.
Al Gore and Leonardo DiCaprio leave two of the largest carbon footprints in the fucking world.
Dude's got a $100 million yacht.
Yet they are the spokesmodels for it.
Hey, fellas! Look what I found in my pocket! Look! A year's salary right here! What I call them? Fun coupons! See that? A fun coupon!
I'm super cereal.
And again, I'm all about not polluting, I assure you. If I see somebody polluting, I'm going to stand up and call them a fucking asshole, because that's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
Be courteous, be smart. You know, this is where we live.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, if you have these two guys as your spokesmodel, what?
I hope now you boys see that this is totally cereal.
Yes.
What? And then you have that Greta girl who does nothing but bitch and moan.
How dare you?
With zero solution.
Exactly.
And she gets woman of the year it was. Then you have a 16-year-old kid who figured out how to clear plastic using a bacteria in the ocean. Not a fucking word about it.
He's not as cool.
Exactly. No, it's not fun. It's not feed into, well, let's scare everybody and say the world's going to die in what? 2002, 2008, 2012, 2016. Are they going to get it right one of these fucking times?
No.
It took how many days before people were like, look, we stopped moving. The earth healed itself. Really?
Right.
So all this fucking problems that we've created that you tell us we're going to die from, it took 1 week of us taking a vacation from doing anything, and the world is all of a sudden healed.
And you know what that implies? That implies the same thing about our immune system. If you fucking give us a break, right? And let us fucking relax and not make us fucking work under these crazy conditions. If you lower the stress levels, if you quit with the fucking bullshit media and you shut it down.
Let us go to parks. Let us go to the... I mean, I can't even walk down the Venetians, a street or a bunch of islands in Miami. I can't even sit on a park bench.
No.
You can't because it's not... But I can cram my ass into fucking the grocery store with everybody else.
McDonald's is open.
Oh, of
but
course
the parks
McDonald's
are closed.
open. Yes. It's astronaut. It's just so funny. And again, what
Exactly.
sunlight does for you,
Right.
number one, what sunlight does for you, vitamin D and everything, that is phenomenal for your immune system.
Absolutely.
I mean, secondly, getting out, getting the endorphins moving, getting yourself healthy, getting circulation going. That's going to cure this better than any type of drug you're going to figure the fuck out.
That's
You
it.
know what I mean? But no, we're so concerned with everybody staying at home and doing nothing because we're told to by a bunch of fucking dickheads.
The planet knows how to heal itself if we just let it. We know how to heal ourselves if we just let ourselves.
Body, again, I'm an osteopathic physician, and again, I'm so happy that I am because I love the overall essence of what an osteopathic physician does. MDs are more concentrated on cutting and prescribing drugs.
Crisis.
DOs are more for preventative measures. Though they've combined them. It's the same thing now. My brother's a urologic reconstructive surgeon. My sister is actually on the front lines in my little hometown in Pennsylvania, the ICU.
Has she been busy?
She's been super busy. You know what I mean? And she's terrified. She's got a newborn and all these kids and everything. Her other child. And again, I feel terrible for those physicians. You know what I mean? Because again, at the end of the day, when this is all over, what's going to happen? We're going to go back to paying people like LeBron James $25 million a year to throw a fucking basketball through a basket, and they're going to go back to hopefully making the same amount of money they did before.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is where hopefully, if anything comes out of this fucking debacle, is that we start realizing who actually is important in society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just a scary fucking situation we're in right now.
Everyone out there that's listening, that's just kind of like, well, I'm just one person. What can I do? I mean, you guys are doing a podcast, right? Okay, well, you scale that up, and you see people like Dr. Shiva doing broadcasts and things that are powerful people that are big global trend changers. Well, this is a perfect segue to go into how Hollywood has controlled the narrative, with the media as well, and how they go hand in hand, and how people believe that why is majority of Hollywood since day one, why were they attacking President Trump for no rational reason? And we want to get into that. We want to unpack that because if you guys don't know, here's where basically the whole cult of Hollywood started. And, the movie From Out of the Shadows that discusses basically, the cult of Dionysus. If you don't know this, you look up in Wikipedia, but this is all just Greek, Greco-Roman history. Basically, in all ancient culture, there was a use of psychedelics.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal. They misappropriated it because they didn't understand what they were dealing with, and they always wanted to use that secret knowledge they would get from the plant medicines as a control mechanism for people instead of liberating people with higher consciousness.
Witch doctor, yeah.
So, there's black magic and there's white magic. So, basically, when you have an oracle, for example, in Greece, you have an oracle of Delphi. So anybody who was like an elected official or an emperor or aristocracy or a god or Zeus or whoever was in control of mass amounts of people. Before he would make any big decision like a war or like an assassination or anything, he would always consult an oracle. And oracles, or people, anybody who's in an altered state, are called mediums. Mm-hmm. Now, what does the media do? The media tells a story, a narrative from who? From some powerful, like George Soros. George Soros is the grand wizard behind all the media. So what do you call these people? You call them channelers, right? So what do you do on your TV? You turn the channel. You watch a different channel. So when you watch television, what is television? It is tell-a-vision. What do you have when you're in an altered state? You have a vision. Mm-hmm. So basically, the whole occult, the ceremony of doing plant medicine or being in an altered state by some type of entheogen, some type of cognitive enhancing drug that gives you visions and experiences, that whole template has been used against humanity to mass psyops all humanity into doing whatever it is that these controlling factors wanted us to do through manufactured consent. And then when you get down to like, okay, that's all fine and good, David. That's a cool story. But let's get what are the
you had me at psychedelics.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
So you have MK Ultra, You have Operation Paperclip. You have these declassified secret operations that through the Freedom of Information Act.
And research these, don't you? Yeah, just
that's it.
Look into them.
Project Mockingbird, Project Blue Book, which is about another whole can of worms, but we'll talk about Paperclip.
It's been depicted in many movies, including Disney's Marvel series.
It's Operation Paperclip after World War II. SHIELD recruited German scientists with strategic value.
Thought I could help their cause.
Operation Paperclip, and this is something people need to know because it has been so covered up and mocked and berated and claimed to be a conspiracy theory.
How post World War II we acquired Nazi scientists like fucking von Braun, who was the engineer, the rocket engineer who allowed the Apollo 11 mission for us to go to the moon and all that shit. So Werner von Braun and a bunch of these Nazis were basically had their records whitewashed and that they weren't Nazis and they weren't part of the Nuremberg trial because they were the best fucking engineers on the planet.
Yeah. They brought these Nazi scientists into the CIA to work for the CIA, and that includes the human experiments they conducted on Jewish men, women, and children, and the psychological studies that these Nazi scientists had done. The CIA was using their expertise for these programs through Operation Paperclip, and this was Nazi, much of it occult beliefs that the CIA adopted and actually put these people on their payroll.
So the United States co-opted these people, and this has been talked to ad nauseum by a bunch of different people, but I just want to lay it out in context of this because
straightforward for the masses.
It ties right into what's going on right now so clearly because we see the contrast between the mainstream narrative's message of just fear and fucking propaganda and attacking the president and no other alternative stories, and we're the only ones that can tell you what the reality of this situation is, and everyone's complying with this fucking madness, right? And thinking for yourself requires what? I mean, it requires at least some credible information that you can side on your side, so you can be like, well, look, you're a quack job, and all of a sudden you think, oh, I am crazy. I just watch the news now.
Starting in 1900, we entered a previously unimaginable time of modern technology. Advances that allowed the rulers of this world to construct and direct our stories in ways we previously never imagined. As a result, new techniques to control the population were realized. These are the people from the companies that we have trusted to deliver us our news and tell our stories. This has always been about controlling what we as the population think and hear. They help create our culture and influence our society. We as citizens only trust them because as a society, we think that the gatekeepers have our best interest in mind.
The dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts, and it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job. That is our job. That is our job. Our job.
So basically, when you start looking through the rabbit hole about all the information about these guys, they were all in the Golden Dawn. They were all part of this secret fucking order. They were all doing this crazy psycho shit.
Now let's all get drunk. Who controls the British crown? Who keeps the metric system down? We do. We do.
Now, you have L. Ron Hubbard and you have Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons basically was the godfather of NASA. Him and Werner von Braun created NASA, okay, which is another disinformation tool because NASA was involved in using this kind of like consciousness about ourselves and speculating about the universe and the nature of the universe and using all this stuff. And then which basically was like all became part of Hollywood. This weird cabal of controlling the perception of people and getting us to fall into these false narratives about the end of the world, about aliens, about pandemics.
We're all gonna die! Barry! Snap the fuck out of it and run!
Exactly.
About all of these different things that they were laying out. And basically, in a nutshell, Hollywood is a cult. A lot of those people have sold their souls. I can tell you, Dr. Ivan and I, we go back a long way. A lot of people don't know this.
Oh, yes.
But Dr. Ivan and I were both in New York. We were both part of the same modeling agency. We both met all the same fucking freaky, weird.
You like popsicles? Well, sure.
And you need to come on down to the cellar. I got a whole freezer full of popsicles.
Like
yes, there's some
sick
interesting stories
perverts
on that one,
in New
man.
York City.
Jesus.
It's like when you're starting off as a model, right? You just want to do work. You just want to appear in catalogs. You want to appear in
Exactly, man.
magazines. You want to be in shape. You want to build a career. You want to do an acting job. You just want to be a part of the business.
And most people are willing to do anything for that, and that's the terrifying thing. And then once they get your hooks in you, I mean, you're pretty much pooch fuck. You know what I mean?
And that's how they want. See, they understand that once they get you to do something that's like immoral or unethical or exposing yourself in a certain way, they own you then.
Exactly.
And they will leverage your career. They're technically your agent now.
Find a happy place. Find a happy place.
For sure.
And
For
like
sure.
casting directors, photographers, modeling agents,
Harvey Weinstein,
all of them, all the way up the board. It's the same MO. They use the same thing. They get you to sell your soul, lose your morals, do anything you can to get some skin in the game. Once you put some skin in the game, then they own you, and then they will leverage that for the rest of your life.
Oh, no.
And that's what everyone, I'm telling you, people ask me all the time, but Dave, does that mean that so-and-so is in the thing? Yes. Does it, my favorite actor, did that mean so-and-so's? Yes. The only people that I can think of off the top of my head that aren't involved in this, like intimately, is somebody like Keanu Reeves.
Oh, he's a badass. I like Keanu Reeves.
Maybe Keanu Reeves.
What about Chris Pratt? I like Chris Pratt. He's a pretty cool dude.
Anybody who's like gone to the top and then they disappear, they're probably not part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that I can't even believe I'm forgetting his name. Oh, Mel Gibson. Mel fucking Gibson.
This is gonna come off weird, Dusty, but he's beautiful.
Is not part of this shit.
Oh, he's hilarious.
He went full. Dude, after Passion of the Christ and then Apocalypto, they blacklisted the guy. He went full on disclosure about how Hollywood is a cabal of, they literally feast off the blood of dead and suffering children.
Yeah.
They're eating children! Fucking children!
They're tainting minds and whatnot. But again, there are some good parts, there are some bad parts. But at the end of the day, it is, priced by admission. And at the end of the day, that admission is very costly. So cut to today with this pandemic, it's the same thing. Who was the first person, celebrity-wise, to come out and say, I have COVID, I'm going to go ahead and segregate myself? America's sweetheart. You know what I mean? Like, how perfect. Because nobody hates Tom Hanks.
Right.
Tom Hanks is like, I mean, if you say something bad, shame on you. You know what I mean? Like, but then, I mean, like, that couldn't have been more perfect. You know what I mean? This is literally a Michael Bay movie we're watching. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
better than any fucking like
it's just
script ever.
Is this chicken?
Hell no. It's really impossible to turn a profit if you serve real chicken. Yeah, we use mainly bats.
Let's cut maybe 4 months ahead where a bunch of stuff comes out to where this isn't as serious as it is. Do you think people such as news anchors, news stations should be held accountable for creating such a divide and such a fear and such? Everybody got this, and all of a sudden they switch the narrative. I mean, like, somebody has to be held accountable for the fear factor going into this, because the fear factor is what's fueling so much.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
Friendly fire issues when it comes to people's health. You know what I
If
mean?
you went into Publix right now and you screamed, "There's a bomb,"
exactly,
there would be repercussions
Oh,
legally.
you'd be fucking go to jail.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
the same
crazy.
thing these anchors are doing. They are saying stuff that isn't backed by any credibility.
But it sounds good. And again, what anybody listening to this, I want you to take a look at Ron Burgundy, Anchorman 2. I've watched that 2 times during this thing, and again, it is exactly what is going on with this day and age. When 24-hour news came in, how do you fill up 24 hours of news?
With bullshit.
It's fucking tough. You know what I mean? What was Ron Burgundy's thing? Give the people what they want.
That's right.
Or scare the shit out.
Find out what common household item can kill you, your family, and everyone you love right after these commercials. Oh, hell, I'll just tell you, it's peaches.
Yeah.
Why? Because people will sit there and be glued to it. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen one positive thing on the news about this is how you build. I mean, like a full segment, not just like, okay, here's 10 seconds about, oh, sunlight's good for your immune. But then again, you have 50,000 COVID days. You know, there's nothing positive. So I'm curious to you, since we've been so negative now, what's something you do or are doing right now that you can do at home that's helping with your immune system and helping you get through this, air quotes, pandemic type time?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just got off a 3-day fast, Fasting is a huge thing. I mean, a lot of the literature, Dr. Rhonda Patrick is a brilliant researcher at the site, and Dr. Walter Longo, who basically pioneered the whole intermittent fasting mimicking protocols, not only with autophagy, which is kind of just recycling the cells, damaged senescent cells that are floating around in your body that could become cancerous, but not only that, but like, you can basically eliminate any detrimental cells in your body through this process of just fasting. Drinking water.
How important is water?
I would say, well, obviously next to air, it's probably number 2.
Oh, yeah. Again. But again, at the end of the day, what does water do? It provides oxygen, clears toxins. You know what I mean? Like, you're 70%. If I were to burn you to death right now, 70% of that is water just evaporating. You know what I mean? In the situation,
which is 5G, which is coming. 5G is going to evaporate.
Exactly, eventually, right? But the whole thing is, people don't understand. Everybody that I see, even patients who come in and get this, by the way, Dave's on a very high-dose vitamin C IV bag right now, which, again, is one of the best ways to prevent the coronavirus. Yes. But at the end of the day, hydration is so critical that nobody wants to do it. Having one of these beautiful coffees, you think caffeine's a diuretic. How many people drink pop? How many people drink alcohol is a diuretic? How many alcohol sales through the roof now? Yeah. But again, we're just making sure we're social distancing, but you go ahead and drink as much alcohol as you want. You know what I mean? That no sense. But anyway, hydration.
Evacuation come.
And that's one of the most important things that nobody is talking about during this time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple people that obviously have brought some things to the forefront about what you can do to prevent these things. Obviously, this IV that you have, that's vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin B, vitamin D. What's the recommended dosage for vitamin D per day?
Again, this is also something too. There's the herd aspect, and a lot of physicians are on this. Azithromycin, and it works for everybody. No, everything should be customized to the actual patient. So if you're coming in, if your vitamin D levels are good, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, sunlight's all you need, because vitamin D, A, K, and E are fat soluble. They can kill you. You know what I mean? Like, every other vitamin, have at it. So the whole concept, usually 5,000, 10,000 a day is kind of what I suggest for patients if they're low in vitamin D. But again, gut health. How important is gut health?
Oh my God.
I mean, you can take all the supplements in the world, whatever you want. You can take everything. If your gut is off, you're creating expensive toilet water.
Right, and that's really where the battlegrounds are fought for your immune system and disease. It's all about the good bugs and the bad bugs.
And what does sugar do to that? I'm curious.
Oh my God.
Candida. Overgrowth.
Epidemic, man.
It's insane. And what is everything in the Western world right now? You're at home, Uber Eats, getting your snacks for quarantine. Sugar. You're killing yourself.
And
even worse.
That's called a systemic inflammatory response.
Oh, it's horrible.
Because you're feeding the substrate, which causes all the illnesses. And the illnesses could be many. You could have many different illnesses that would be diagnosed by a traditional doctor who would say, you have this and this and this. But the majority of the time, the underlying causes are from the gut health.
Oh, 1,000,000%. Again, if I could sit there and if you laid every drug on this table, from meth to LSD to marijuana to mushrooms. Go on, stop on down here, 1800 Purdy Avenue. Bring all your drugs.
We had 2 bags of grass, 75 pellets of mescaline, 5 sheets of high-powered blotter acid, a salt shaker half full of cocaine, a whole galaxy of multicolored uppers, downers, screamers, laughers, also a quarter tequila, quarter rum, case of beer, pint of raw ether, and 2 dozen amyls.
No, if you laid them all out, sugar, alcohol, and caffeine, everything on there, sugar, I would say,
absolutely,
is probably the biggest killer of everyone.
Absolutely.
Easily.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, it's the most widely accepted, less regulated drug in the world. Why? Because it's addictive and it tastes good.
The bracing sparkle and the bit of quick energy you get in Coke makes it the perfect refreshment every time. It gives you a bright little lift. It brings you back so refreshed so quickly.
Things such as mushrooms, LSD when done properly, THC, marijuana.
Of course.
Medical proof they do well. I mean, like, I was getting an argument the other day about THC uses and drug uses when it comes to people, conspiracy theorists and all that kind of stuff. And if you Google influencers who have used drugs in their life responsibly, that's the #1 thing, responsibly.
Is that a joint, man? That goddamn looks like a Yeah, quarter pounder, man.
Okay, I'm not just talking about recreation who's going crazy if you do it right. LSD, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. I mean, what's his name? Thomas Edison cocaine was his favorite drug.
Yeah.
But they did it properly. Then you have people with sugar. What do people do with sugar? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pops a day. I mean, it's astronomical. You know what I mean? And then you want to wear gloves and a face mask and think you're going to save yourself.
Right.
You're dead already.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and you know, I saw this one. They're expecting, I think it's 80% of the population to be not obese, morbidly obese by 2030.
Well, listen up, City Jim. I is a baby.
Yeah.
And what's that going to do to our health care? Everyone wants free health care. Number one, health care is not a right. It's a privilege for people who take it fucking seriously.
Right.
You know? And people just want to sit there willy-nilly and drink this and eat this and all kinds of stuff.
I love chocolate, but I can't eat it because then I'll get fat.
There are repercussions for everything.
Yeah.
Some things come quicker than others. Everybody's building this whole thing up right now.
That's a great point. You know, that brings me to the conclusion. You know, the debate, we always end up getting involved in a debate when it's like the right or the left. You know, we want socialized medicine. That, you know, when we're looking at the presidential debates, they're all talking about, you know, critical things that affect all the population. You know,
with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
This has come to the surface and it's a concern. Why? Because no one is doing their homework about their own health.
Oh my God, you guys, there's like literally a penis attached to my body right now. Martha, come look at my penis.
No,
if everyone did their homework about their own health and took personal accountability of themselves and stop whining, complaining for Big Mom and Big Dad to take care of it for me.
Ma, the meatloaf! Fuck!
Take care of my health for me. To give me the medicine. Oh, can you give me a workout plan? Oh, can you give me a diet? Can you tell me what's good? I just want you to tell me what I need to do. Fuck that, man. It's not going to have any value to you unless you do it yourself. And it's unfortunate that we have to get to this way, but you know what? If you want to reduce the burden of taxpayers dumping all of our money into a healthcare system that's broken, do something about it. It starts with you. We would end the whole thing. You know what the taxpayers' burden is on diabetes treatment every year, which it's in the billions and billions of dollars, and it's something that's 100% curable with just good dietary habits and exercise.
And again, I want to make this point because I'm sure this is going to piss off a lot of doctors who watch this thing. Good. You know, if you're a physician and have a problem with anything that we're saying and yada, 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 if you prescribe diabetic medication or cholesterol medication with no diet, shame on you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you are part of the problem.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
You're a big pharma bitch. You're a big pharma
That's what it
bitch.
is. You're just peddling a simple formula. HbA1c is too high, give him this medication. If not this medication.
That's it.
Not once have I had an argument with the physician online. Why are you giving a patient testosterone? Why are you doing this for this patient? Why are they taking IVs? Okay, fine. I see they're on cholesterol medication. Have you suggested a diet? Well, no. Well, then
that?
Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I mean, what is the deal? Everybody's so concerned with fixing the symptom, not curing the problem. I mean, I'm done with Band-Aids. I mean, all we're doing is putting Band-Aids on the hemorrhage that is the United States healthcare system.
Shit!
Well, that didn't go so great.
If you want free health care, fucking earn it. Come in, take a piss test, and you shouldn't be on any drugs. If you're smoking, congratulations. You don't get goddamn anything.
Look.
Nothing. Why? Because you aren't taking your health seriously. Why should me and you, who take our health seriously, everything seriously, be forced to sit there and pay for people who don't even give
Exactly.
a fuck?
That's
You know
like
what I mean?
telling a 10-year-old kid when they're going to school every day, right? You need to study really hard so you can ace this test. Why, Daddy? Because now we have we have socialized school, and it doesn't matter how much I study.
Grades don't matter. SATs no more. It's
Because
just,
Sally doesn't study, and she gets the same grade as I do, no matter how hard I study. Oh, so there's no incentive. See, this is the problem with the left and the right, and how they're they're corralling people on the left, which used to stand for some really progressive ideas.
I agree, yeah.
They used to stand for some good shit, man. They used to push the envelope and used to stand on the front lines of like human rights and civil rights and like used to stand for some shit. Like
When
the
it was
left,
needed, yeah,
the
for
left
sure.
was has been poisoned, man. And the difference is what you'll find is all these entitlement people, all these people that are afraid to do the work themselves, that want to play the victim, that want to point the finger, that have the outrage culture. Those are the people that are bought into this leftist agenda. Yeah. And you know what this is doing? They're hijacking their collective. They're doing a cognitive capture of all these people's well intent. But what you can do as an individual to distinguish between whether or not you're being hoodwinked by a political agenda is say, am I willing to do the work myself to create the change in the world?
Exactly.
That's the difference between this liberal agenda and conservatives. Conservatives are fundamentally willing to join the military, fucking sacrifice your life. They're willing to do whatever it takes to make change, and they're not going to talk
good.
it. They're going to walk
exactly.
it, right? It doesn't mean that they're perfect. It just means that that's the fine line between, oh, well, I have rights in this country. Well, how were your rights established? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm
Every
entitled.
country has been built on blood.
That's it.
Every
That's it.
country.
Life feeds on death.
Yes.
Life,
Everyone's like, oh, Sweden's the Vikings. I mean, like, you want to go back and see what they did to earn that land? It's just like, I mean, come on now. You know, there is that aspect going on, and like you said, it's a whole point of earn it.
Right.
You know, there's none of that wanting
Get
to go on
some skin
right
in
now.
the game.
And the whole thing is, again, I like to call myself a Republic cat. When it comes to like the stuff, my health, my defense, my own rights, I am 100% Republican. Give me an American flag tattoo. America, fuck yeah! Right. When it comes to things such as gay marriage, legalizing marijuana, and all those things, have at it. You know, as long as it doesn't affect me in any which way, I will support it all day long. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not going to get pushed to the far, far, far right where everything is bad. Right. But and I see a lot of people on the left, and some of my friends included, are pushed so far there. And with this whole polarization in the media of who Donald Trump is, it's just like no matter what. I mean, you have somebody up right now, and again, God bless him. I mean, I get it. If I was in a situation, maybe I'd do it. But I mean, Joe Biden's. And again, any physician who would like to fuel me on this one, I'm welcome with it, is early stage dementia.
Right.
And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down.
It is
he shouldn't even
so
be in the conversation.
Apparent.
Shouldn't be.
And
in the
now you have somebody such as Bernie Sanders who said,
I think Joe doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, I like Joe. Joe is a friend of mine. I just don't think he knows what he's talking about.
Jumped on board with him now.
Asking all Americans, I'm asking every Democrat, I'm asking every independent, I'm asking a lot of Republicans to come together in this campaign to support your candidacy, which I endorse.
You know what I mean? Obama's going to jump on board with a person who has early. You cannot feud that.
They don't have a chance.
I'm very curious to see who he picks as his vice president, because I could very well see if, which I don't think is going to happen, and I pray to God it doesn't, if Joe Biden wins this presidential election, whoever is the VP will be president within 2 years.
Of course,
because 2 years from now he's not there.
Right.
And again, it's a situation where people know that. But they hate this polarization. They hate Donald Trump because they think he did A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Yet they're very happy to accept that stimulus package without question.
Right.
They won't vote for somebody who's made the economy was phenomenal until this manufactured pandemic came about. They're happy to vote for somebody who is, my God. I mean, if he was your grandfather, you'd be like, yeah, you shouldn't be driving there, Dad.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's terrifying.
It is, yeah.
But I don't know. It's pretty crazy.
Pulling, that's the sad thing is that you had a representative on the Democratic Party, Tulsi Gabbard, who was actually active duty military personnel who's supported by Spec Ops, who actually the DNC pushed her out of the way. She was
surprising.
She was the only candidate that had viability. I mean, she was a little young. Maybe she wasn't experienced in the political. But you know what? We don't need all the experienced political people.
I would rather see her than Joe Biden right now, because if she, for some odd reason, won, I'd be like, well, at least it's not Joe Biden.
Bro, their time is done, dude. It's over. Your time is done.
You know, and again, so
why would you want to be a progressive and be a Democratic and think about the future by hiring these old guys to run the
ones that you hate? You hate old white rich people like Donald Trump.
They're just trying to dupe you.
That's who you're picking.
They're going to dupe you. Don't trust these old white people.
But I mean, if you have researched everything and you're fully confident, then yeah, vote for him. I mean, that's your right to vote for whoever. But I mean, at least make an educated decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Part of this is just in good humor.
Oh, yeah, it is. And again, yes, let's preface this. Me and Dave like to have fun and joke around and swear.
We're on a lot of caffeine right now. I'm on an IV.
Yes.
God knows what's
we're
in
all
the
hopped
IV.
up on goofballs.
Yeah.
But again, you know, we're just kind of having fun with it. But, you know, at the end of the day, what are your top 5 tips to stay healthy during this this craziness?
Well, I mean, number one, you know, don't watch the mainstream news about it.
Oh, that's the best number one. Yeah.
What I advise everyone to do, if you want to establish some sense of orientation of where you are in your community about whether or not this is affecting you directly, get in your car right now. If there's non-strict, you know, stay-at-home orders, if you have some time during the day when you go to the grocery store, just film your hospital. Hashtag film your hospital. I've gone.
This is new. What is this?
I've gone by Aventura General 3 times. I've gone by Jackson Memorial Hospital once. All 4 times I visited these hospitals during the middle of the day. They're empty.
Nurse, I'm ready for my sponge bath. What happened to this place? Everybody up and gone.
I have the tracker, the COVID-19 tracker. It's called Infection 2020. When it monitors the cases, how many people have died, and all this stuff. And of course, when you watch the news, all of a sudden you think, fucking hey, man, where's my sauna suit? I need to be in a bubble. Like, I'm never going to go outside again, right? And then I said, well, hold on, you know, let me get some more information before I start believing it, because I know they're full of shit. They've always been full of shit, and why should I believe them now? So I went to the hospital, and I drove by, and I didn't want to just trust one time. I went different times of the day, different days. So I went to the hospital. I mean, I was with my girlfriend. We've both filmed. When I say that the hospital wasn't busy, the hospital parking lot was empty. You could count maybe 10 cars in the parking lot. The emergency room, the ambulance, you know, where the ambulances deliver patients, closed. The front side of the hospital, empty. You would think, I saw 3 people in Aventura. I saw a police officer, a security guard, 1 employee, and a patient that was being wheeled out in a wheelchair. That's it. That's all I saw. So first of all, give yourself some mental clarity and relax. Are there people dying? Yes. Should you be alarmed that people are dying around you or because you see bodies on the news? No. That's where people go to die, guys. I'm sorry. It's very unfortunate.
That happens every day.
People
and we aren't
die.
taking anything away from it at all. There's just a situation where there's a greater good aspect of it. And again, I understand, you know, if your grandfather passed away, if anybody in your family passed away, condolences. And we aren't in any way degrading what that is. We're talking about more as of a global approach to it.
Yeah, we're all going to die, guys.
Yes.
Nobody. I mean, it shouldn't be a sensitive topic.
Preview of coming attraction. There's death, to die, to expire, to pass on, to perish, to peg out, to push up daisies, to push up posies, to become extinct, curtains, deceased, demised, departed and defunct. Dead as a doornail, dead as a herring, dead as a mutton, dead as nits. The last breath, paying a debt to nature, the big sleep. God's way of saying, slow down.
To check out.
Everyone's not immune from death. We're all going to,
yes.
None of us make it out alive.
And you also have to look at, you know, and again, I'm not going to go over the numbers, but try and do some own research. research what hospitals are getting paid per COVID patient.
There you
Now,
go.
if I'm a hospital, what am I doing?
Reassigning cause of death.
COVID.
Reassigning
Exactly.
causes of death.
Now, unfortunately, I'm afraid you're going to die. When you watch these Dean Martin celebrity roasts.
If you're a relief pitcher in a baseball game, granted I'm not a big baseball fan, but you know I played back in high school. If you're a relief pitcher and your team has done phenomenal, and all you have to do is come out and throw one strike.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering, just a bit outside.
Did you win the game?
No.
Absolutely not. The 9 innings before, the 9 innings of smoking, of not caring what you did with your life when it comes to what you're eating.
Oh, go girlfriend. I'm your mother. Come on, Thorny, you're losing to the rookie. It's embarrassing.
Of doing too many drugs.
Here!
Of not sleeping properly. Of sleeping with the wrong kind of people.
I know I got a bad...
I mean, like, that's what led to this unfortunate accident.
Exactly.
Then you have people from the old world, the 80-year-olds and all that kind of stuff. They grew up in a time in history where, I mean, I can't even fathom that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I grew up and, like, cell phones weren't there, and that was crazy. You know, I remember the whole rotary phone and all that shit.
Yeah, of course.
These people were alive for me 50 years before that.
Dude.
So, I mean, what they were exposed to, and I mean, they used to wake up, smoke cigarettes, and eat bacon.
They used to hide under their desk because of nuclear bomb sirens.
I never exercised a day of my life. Every morning, I wake up and I smoke a cigarette. And then I eat 5 strips of bacon. And for lunch, I eat a bacon sandwich. And for a midday snack, bacon, a whole damn plate. And I usually drink my dinner.
So it's a situation to where it's like, you know, it's a collaboration. COVID itself is not killing anybody. It creates opportunistic, you know, I mean, it's an opportunistic infection is what it is. It preys on people who are unhealthy.
Yeah,
and that's
most
what it is.
like HIV, the same thing.
Exactly.
It just lowers your immune system to other things that
So
normally your immune system would fight off.
And if your immune system's low to begin with,
Courtesy
of lifestyle decisions, genetics, and again, there are some young people dying, and again, that's a super sad situation. But again, population genetics say that percentage is so small. You have a better chance right now of walking out this door and being poisoned to death.
Yeah.
If you're under 50 and contracting COVID and dying.
2 million people die of cancer every year in the United States. Where is the panic? About 2 million people.
Cervical cancer from HPV.
Because it's manageable. Because they already have the channels to manage the
Because they've
illness.
already used that and abused it, and they have enough charities for it. They on to the next flashy new
cancer
object.
schmancer, right.
Exactly.
It's like
Went from HIV
last
to
year's
cancer to
fashion.
breast cancer to prostate
Right.
cancer. I mean, like it's just like everybody picks a disease and tries to profit off of it.
That's
And
it.
again, if you know anybody who is greatly profiting off of this, number one, look at how they're doing it. It's fucking gross.
Bill Gates.
Yeah, oh my, yeah. We'll
we
get
go.
them in a minute. But again, at the end of the day, look, I mean, like people are selling tests right now, and I've debated going back and forth on it. And again, like I don't feel that it's right to do that. I mean, like sell it at cost, and that's what it is. But some people are getting rich off of it, which I think is reprehensible.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, what kind of the message I want to get across is, you know, put the human back in humanity.
Yeah.
The people who should be in quarantine and social distancing are the people who are sick, immunocompromised, have genetic issues that are there, or the first responders. My sister is on the front fucking lines, okay? I get it. She needs to socially isolate. My father has had 3 heart attacks. Yes, socially distance. My brother, I mean, my brother's still in this, I mean, he's a surgeon, but at the same time, it's urology. I mean, my good friends, we don't need to be doing this shit. We need herd immunity. We need to sit there and live our lives and not let this world go to fucking shit.
Exactly.
That's where we're going.
Yeah.
You know? All right, number 2. That was number 1.
Okay.
Number 2. What's your number 2?
Number 2 is, you know, obviously stay away from sugar.
Oh, God, yes.
It's like a combination of diet and exercise. You can actually just group it all as one thing.
Okay,
It's
so
like,
we're going healthy
it's
living
like,
here.
yeah, you want to make sure that the environmental factors around you, i.e. food, exercise, sunlight, you know, making sure that you're getting good information that you can think about, like meditation, breathing exercises. All of those things boost immunity. Like I can tell you, like after my pulmonary embolism and being like shut down in a coma and all that stuff, like
Yeah, you wouldn't know by listening to.
I realized the importance of breathing like nothing else. Like breathing in regards, like, and you can look at countless journals about oxygen and its effects, you know, like breathing and all this stuff. But third thing, you can actually breathe and make yourself stronger, your immunity stronger. And so there's so much that you can do as an individual instead of, you know, believing everything that you're seeing from the media and having that affect you and then disempowering your own ability to prevent your immunity from doing what it naturally does. Your immunity naturally is going to defend you. It's the most advanced form of protection that you'll ever have.
It's insane how complicated your immune system is. It's beautiful.
It is.
I mean, the body
it's like
is a
system,
beautiful
backup
machine.
system, backup system,
It
backup
is.
system,
Fail
backup
safe,
system,
fail safe, fail safe, you know?
So it's like this thing where the first line, it's the first Trojan horse that media will do is get it in your brain that you need something.
I know how you're feeling right now.
Stop it. Don't do that.
I'm here for you.
Besides basic good health, good diet, exercise, sunshine, lots of water, breathe correctly, relax, read, keep the stress down. It's all about that stress response.
Stress, exactly. So yeah, 100%. And again, what people don't realize about breathing, it's not your lungs. You know what I mean? Don't worry about your lungs. It's passive. It's your diaphragm and your core. The amount of weak cores in the United States.
Woohoo! Look at that blubber fly.
That's it.
Just go to Walmart, go to Publix, go to your wherever you want to.
Yeah.
Your core is so important when it comes to how you breathe.
I mean, look at
how
every
you breathe.
fruit.
This is a respiratory disease. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, so strengthen your actual core, which is going to help you breathe better and decrease the risk of it.
Look at okay, there's a reason why every fruit has a seed in the center near the core, right? That's the way nature designed it.
Exactly.
So the seed, the actual key to every one of those fruits, the actual self-replicating portion of that fruit is the seed in the center, in the core. So it has to be protected. That seed has to be protected, which is the essence of itself. In the middle, in the core. So that's why breathing and focusing on the
Heck
core
yes, I love
is
that.
the most important thing. That's how you can really strengthen your defense. And you can get that kind of like, we can talk about magnetic fields and stuff like that, but there is a part of your immunity that does come down to magnetic fields.
Oh, for sure. And again, if you look at, I know 5G is on everybody's mind right now, and you know it's funny when you see all these old horror films like what was it, Into the Woods or whatever it was about the people in West Virginia who lived under power lines. Yeah, and became deformed. And again, we think of power lines. People who live under it. What do they get? Cancer. Right. I mean, that's pretty much I mean, I think the electric company's been paying out for that for how many years?
Yeah.
So take a look at what 5G does. And again, I'm not a 5G conspiracy theorist. I'm not saying blah, 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 blah. I'm just putting out simple, common facts. What it does to your cellular structure.
Yeah.
It disrupts it. It causes stress. What does stress do? Decreases your your immune system. Decreases everything about it.
Yeah.
You're going to age faster. The faster you age, the faster is that chance that one cell might flip and cause some type of different type of cancer or whatever it could be. So again, yes, 5G. It's not the healthiest thing. Granted, I am happy about the speed of my phone, but I'm also happy about my cellular health a little bit more.
Exactly.
So yeah, and again, one of the big things people bring, well, you know, in countries where there's not 5G, there's still COVID. I'm not. Of course, there's going to be. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but if you look at places where there are major 5Gs, there is a bigger spread. Could that be because it's a bigger population? Of course.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or it could be that, you know, higher population density that are exposed to these low-level radiations have more immune compromise.
And if you're worried about putting your laptop, if you're a man, on your lap, because who knows what will do your testicles, yet you don't give a shit about what 5G is, you might have lost your goddamn mind. You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those situations. Or microwave.
There's no data on what causes testicular cancer to grow so rapidly. However, the primary causes of testicular cancer are linked to exposure to high doses of radiation. Oh, hey, Stan, could you grab me a beer?
Why don't you sit there and why don't you just put a microwave in your room,
course.
sleep on top of the pillow,
Yeah.
and if you're not worried about that versus, I mean, come on, you know what I mean?
Well, here's I can lay this argument out really quickly so people can kind of have a context for why 5G or 4G or any magnetic field will interfere with your cellular structures. Like, first of all, there was a man named Schumann, and he was a physicist, and he established the Schumann resonance, which is the frequency of the Earth's magnetic field in hertz. So the Earth's magnetic field is between 7 and 10 hertz. So there's an oscillating heartbeat that you can measure that's 10 hertz. That's the Earth. All the satellites are all positioned based on that hertz frequency because that's the frequency of the Earth. Now, when you do sleep studies, like my brother-in-law's a neurologist, when you do sleep studies and you have various different wavelengths of sleep states, one, beta, theta, so alpha is your awake, your most creative state. So alpha brainwave states are between 8 and 12 hertz. Is that a coincidence? I think not. So the Earth is this, creative organism that has made human beings that are creative organisms, and we function in the same hertz frequencies, right? So then you have, what is the frequency of 5G? Well, 5G operates between 24 and 150 gigahertz. Okay, so you basically, what you're doing is anytime you have a system, right, that's set up within the same hertz, it's designed to harmonize. Now, living systems, when you look in quantum theory, it's all about waves, right? Waves and particles. And what you have is if you want to create a harmonic resonance, then you have to have things in different orders. You have to have different things in different octaves, different magnitudes of order that are in balance with, each, previous like tone, like structure, like if you're a musician harmony, and you understand like music theory and you understand triads and thirds and all these different things in theory, you'll understand it's like music is life and life is music. Basically, as you look into 5G, you want to look into, this is where the rubber meets the road. So they've done studies on what's called cryptochromes. Cryptochromes are sensory. They're cells in your eyes that are specifically sensitive to magnetic fields. Now, every mammal has cryptochromes. Now, cryptochromes are something that whenever there's an interference between migrating birds or migrating mammals like, dolphins or whatever, or whales, where they're, in trouble today, several dozen, fucking beluga whales, washed up on San Diego shore, and all these hippies are out there going, get the fuck back there, and like, turn off 5G, fuckers. That's what's going on because they have a GPS system based on the magnetic field of the Earth. And what's happening is we're creating a field of disruption. We're creating a massive power structure that disrupts living systems. That's why people in the United Kingdom have burnt down, after that David Icke interview on London Real where he talked about 5G and doing this very thing. He didn't talk about cryptochromes. Yeah. I found that out myself and I was like, dude, the implications of this, because they've done the studies on it. They've done the studies on cryptochromes and how it fucks up mammals' ability to think, like cognitive thinking, creative problem solving, all the alpha brainwave states that you want to be in a flow state. Righty then. Flow states are alpha brainwave states. That means your ability to access higher dimensions through meditation, your ability to alleviate stress, the ability to tap into your autonomic nervous system. All that stuff is through the alpha brainwave state. And dude, I'm telling you, if there is a conspiracy with 5G, you know what, in Hallandale Beach,
allegedly again, we're just going with it.
Allegedly. I'm not trying to criticize the platform in which this message is trying to get out, but at the end of the day, it's about like moderation. Like,
oh, for sure. You're 100% right on that one. And again, like the whole concept is kind of to dumb your point down. It's like trying to study for your SATs in the middle of a strip club. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to sit there at a certain brave way, and all of a sudden you got tits in your face. You got loud music going on. Your brain's going to try to sit there and process what's going on. And again, so this is going to come back to what I think your third tip is sleep. How important sleep is, correct? Yeah. And what does everybody have in their bedroom? A fucking TV,
their phone,
and their phone.
Blue light.
It's a situation to where it's like I always bring up if you want to understand sleep very well, take a look at I don't know if you guys crate dogs or whatever when you're training them and whatever. But when you put a dog into a crate and you put the blanket over it, that dog associates the smell of that crate, the spatial arrangement of that crate, the darkness of that crate with sleep. You're supposed to be in there to sleep. So that brain goes right down into delta or REM, whatever it could be.
That's it.
Okay? So now cut to the beautiful human species. Okay? So what goes on with us? We sit there like, let's go to bed. You know, we just got done doing whatever. We come in there, turn the TV on. We're watching Tiger King. We're getting all revved up, watching some tigers run around eating. Oh, yeah, I know, porn. Okay, porn. I don't knock porn. I kind of like it.
Talk about www.com. You got them naked chicks on there, man. You go click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
So what happens is your brain sits there and you're watching all these programs, whatever, or you're answering emails, or you're on your phone on social media. Your brain is now sitting there, and your brain's a beautiful piece of machinery. And what it does is it sits there and it appropriates what that room is and what you're doing with what you should be doing brain-wise. So you're sitting there. Okay, the smell of the room, the feel of my sheets, the spatial arrangement of it. Just because you turn the TV off, that's one sense you're turning off. You have all of your other senses just pumping. So, I can't fall asleep. I need Xanax. I need Ambien. I need all these fucking... No, you don't. Take the TV out of your room. That's it. Change the sheets. Go out and get like a lavender or vanilla smell. Spray it fucking everywhere. Change where your bed is. Put your phone on airplane mode on the other side of the fucking room.
There you go.
And that's it. And then you'll sit there. It might take a week, but your body will finally sit there just like a dog. Okay, time to sit there. Go to bed. Time to sleep.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And even when it comes to sex, don't have sex in your bedroom. I think that's the stupidest thing. Number one, you're making the sheets a fucking mess. You know what I mean? Like, and you're going to lay in that slop for whatever. But at the end of the day, you're sitting there, you're revved up, you got blood flow in different areas. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, I came, time to go to bed. Good fucking luck. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's a situation where it's like, your bedroom should be your most basic, boring room in the house because there's only one thing you should do there. Sleep. And again,
super important.
And I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. When it comes to your sleep posture, and again, this is super important when it comes to how you breathe. So again, laying on your left side, they always tell pregnant women to do that. There's several things that are reasonings for do that. You know, you want to lay on your left side. Number one, you want to relieve all the stress on your joints. Sleep with a pillow between your legs. Sleep like you're hugging a pillow. And I'm not talking a small pillow. I'm talking a gigantic Big Daddy pillow. So basically, what that does, it takes all the pressure off of your shoulder and your hip joint. Then make sure you're the type of pillow. You want your neck straight. You don't want to be a soft one where you're kind of tilted down, or you don't want to be tilted up. Why? Spinal posture is extremely important to without
Everybody's woken up one morning and go, Jesus Christ, did I get into an accident when I was sleeping?
Exactly. You know what I mean? You sit there, you're like hands above your head or whatever, you know. And my trick is I tuck a pillow, since I'm on my left side, I tuck a pillow on my back. So now I'm fully supported. So it's almost like zero gravity. I sleep like a fucking hooker on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, it's phenomenal. But again, good sleep. And this is why sleeping is so important. You sleep 1/3 of your life. So a lot of people who don't know you, which I don't think too many people on here are going to be because you're quite the presence on social media. How old are you, David?
I'm 45.
45. I mean, this is the epitome of health when you're 45. Good luck. I mean, this is amazing. So that means 1/3 of your life is how many years?
For me, well, I'd say it's going to be 30 years.
Okay. Exactly, right? No, for me, I'm 36, so 12 years of my life, theoretically, I have spent sleeping. How important is that? Astronomical. Delta sleep helps your body repair everything, including your immune system. REM sleep helps rebuild your mind. How many Americans right now do you think are getting proper sleep? About as many that have truly died from the coronavirus. That's what I'd say. That's how small that percentage is. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
So situation number 3, like you were saying, sleep is so important. How do you sleep?
Well, position-wise?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a ritual for when I go to sleep. You know, all the stuff gets turned off. You know, a candle is lit. I usually have like some type of tea. And then I'll usually take like zinc, magnesium, aspartate, which is like any kind of magnesium supplement kind of like
which is good. So zinc, magnesium, right?
And then I'll do like a small little stretching like routine where I'm just kind of like breathing, like very slow diaphragm breathing, just kind of like relaxing. And then if I'm having trouble, usually I start on my back with a pillow under my legs, you know, and then I'll try to get a relaxation response where I'll curl my toes for like 1 minute and then slowly release. And then I feel that kind of relaxation go through my body. And then I'll switch from side to side. And I do the same thing you do. I try to keep the spine neutral. I hug a pillow. My girlfriend gets jealous when she stays over because she's like, I can't get close to you. Your girlfriend's in the way.
Bitch, I'm sleeping. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You got to let me sleep, girl. Yeah, but
no, for sure. No, so I'm glad you share my enthusiasm with it. You know, everybody's so worried about pre-workouts and, you know, what do I need to take in the morning?
Stims.
Dude, you have 8 hours of uninterrupted
bliss
time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that should be your biggest pre-workout right there. Get the right supplements, get the right position, get
Yeah.
the right motivation to have a good sleep, because
Yeah.
that changes your entire life.
Dell. Oh. Oh. Why did you kiss my ear?
Why are you holding my hand?
Where's your other hand?
Between two pillows.
Those aren't pillows.
Yeah, it's like if you break sleep cycles and waking cycles down, like if it was a workout, right?
Yeah.
If you were, let's say, for example, you're going to go in the gym and you want to bench press 300 pounds on the bench, but then on your rest, someone is suffocating you from breathing, how effective is your next set?
Oh, for sure. It's terrible.
shit. So use that metaphor in terms of like your sleep. If you're getting shit sleep and you're expecting to do something in the waking state, optimum performance, it's not going to happen.
No, for sure. All right, so now what I have to ask as well is, you know, us as Americans, we all love alcohol. And again, I am a very avid user of it, but in a very smart way most of the time.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts when it comes to this whole aspect of what we're talking about now, how to stay healthy at home? Alcohol, yes, no, maybe so?
I mean, traditionally, alcohol is used as a medicine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it does have medicinal properties to it, especially with like, you know, a glass of wine. So like, I will have a glass of red wine. I will have like a shot of rum or a shot of tequila.
Give me that thing. I'll do one. I'll do one.
We gonna do one.
Do
We
one.
gonna do one.
Let's go.
We gonna do one.
Do one.
Do you, baby? Oh! That's a talented man right there. Woo! That's what I'm talking.
Do it up again.
We gonna do
It's
it.
so good. Once it hits your lips, it's so good.
Something like that, because it works. You know, alcohol kills germs, first of all. No, but I use it as a needed. You know, I don't use it, I don't abuse it. I just use it moderately. I'll use it with a meal, or I'll use it as a digestive, or I'll use it as something that kind of will sedate me and get me into an altered state. I mean, it's like anything. There are certain drugs that have certain effects, and when it's all about dosage. You know,
For sure.
And
Moderation.
The most innocuous thing that you could have, like water, for example, if you have too much, you could die from water consumption. So it's kind of like, you know, everyone should be encouraged in their daily life to have a repertoire of things that they know the effects of, and then they don't overuse the effectiveness of it, so it becomes a detriment. You got to,
sure.
It's balance, man.
And a big thing too is what you're mixing it with. And again, this is a lot of people, oh, I'm gonna have one drink. You're gonna have a margarita that has more sugar than Coke in it. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, me, again, my big thing is a nice dry red wine. You got the resveratrol and all. I mean, make sure it's the correct kind of wine with the resveratrol in it. But again, when it comes to the whole social aspect of it, and again, feeling the fact that we are human, and again, we all have to remember that. You know, if you have one glass of wine, it makes you feel better. It makes you feel like you're doing something, especially during these times right now.
Yeah.
It's when that one glass of wine turns into 10.
I'm ready to party.
You know what I mean? And that's when shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I totally am fine with drinking during this time, just being smart about it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then exercise and diet properly around it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that turn to alcohol habitually because they had a 9 to 5 and it was always happy hour at 6. So now you're faced with the situation of, oh, I had a habit. Like, now you're waking up to the fact that, like, no, it wasn't, you justified having this happy hour, which led to 5, 6, 7 drinks, right? Which is how you took the edge off during your stressful job. But you justified that behavior because of a stressful job. Now have no stressful job and you're at home and you're like, the stress is that I'm not working.
I have no money.
so then you're repeating the same habit patterns, but then you're realizing, wait a second, this isn't healthy. why am I compulsively doing this? So now you have the potential to correct this pattern behavior and really take control of your life. Like everyone talks about, like, this is so terrible. It's this, that. It's a great opportunity for people to
It's
improve.
a fucking snow day. I grew up in Meadville, Pennsylvania, where we'd wake up and there'd be 3 feet of fresh snow, and we'd have a full day to do whatever the fuck we wanted.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like, we have now, what, 3.5 weeks we're going on?
Choose wisely.
And again, this was my number 5, was laugh and be productive during this time. That's the most important fucking thing going on right now. Everybody's sitting home, oh, this is such a bummer and blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to learn Spanish, which I speak amazing Spanglish.
Duolingo.
You know, I usually date Latin women, so I mean, I should probably get on board with that one. You know, and, you know, sit there, you know, guitar, pick up a hobby, paint, photography, write a book. You know, funny thing is, I'm in the middle of I have a full book done. It's called Sick, which I had finished a trilogy, was it 2 years ago now, and it's all about exactly what's going on right now. And the funny thing is, the book is basically how beautiful a virus is. And again, if you think about it, what a virus is one of the most unique organisms in the world.
Yeah, it's not alive.
It's phenomenal.
It's dead.
You know,
you can't kill
dead.
it.
You cannot
it's
kill
immortal.
it. The second you pick it up, it becomes alive. The second it's on that table doing nothing, it's considered a fucking remote control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's a situation where it's kind of the same thing, and that's where I was so amped up about this whole viral thing. But now I'm switching it to kind of like make it relevant to this, you know, bring the whole coronavirus aspect into it. So I'm trying to keep myself productive and at the same time laugh, have fun, be weird. That's why I'm dressing up as Spider-Man, going around and fucking Darth Vader and whatnot. Why?
Yeah.
Because what laughter does to your system, a smile, the neurotransmitters that releases, the hormones, everything under the sun is astronomically important to when it comes to boosting your immune system.
Absolutely, man. You know, that's the thing, is like you can either be part of the darkness that's really suppressing people's like ability to live and prosper, or you can partake in the light, man. You know, at the end of the day, none of us, bro, we're not going to be here that long. You might as well be here for a good time, because we're not here for a long time.
You got one of them,
Make the best of what the time that you have.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, amazing! Whoa! Balls, T-Rex, got a hop, baby! Fuck. Oh! Woo! Man, life is good. Oh. T-Rex got on, baby.
Even if you don't got shit, you know, it's like there's a lot of people that don't got shit, so do nothing together. Like when we get to where we can actually hug each other again and spend time and be communal again and be social creatures like we're programmed to be, you know, hopefully we'll take from this whole thing these valuable lessons and understand how to value what's valuable again.
Exactly.
We've been so convoluted by all these distractions of whatever, you know, external thing that validates us, whatever emptiness we had inside, and now all that shit's taken away, and you have to confront that emptiness and understand, man, you have to take personal responsibility and filling that in with something that has substance. Because if you try to fill it in with nothing, you're just going to end up repeating that same mistake, looking for that next fix over and over again.
Just hook it to my veins!
And when you come to this position in life, and, you know, Ivan, if you guys don't know out there, Ivan is, he's one of the pioneers in like the use of, like, say, ketamine, to bring about people's awareness of certain trauma that's embedded from whatever, childhood or combat or PTSD or abusive relationships, whatever it is, PTSD. Things that are embedded trauma inside the psyche that would take years and years of psychotherapy to deal with, that you can just take one ketamine session. It's a disassociative. It will just wake that part of the mind up, and you'll be able to, in an abstract sense, tackle those emotions without the trauma that you had when you experienced it, because we compartmentalize these things. It's like my girlfriend yesterday, she's like a coach, you know, and you know, she requires all of her clients to like post the food that they eat. And the hardest thing that we have is like connecting to each other right now, because everyone wants to hide behind certain things. Everyone's afraid of being genuine, afraid of being vulnerable. And so this girl was
the beauty of social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's anonymity. There's a level of anonymity.
As we speak to social media right now.
Yeah. like I think it's much easier to like be vulnerable with people online.
Suck it, oh man. I'm gonna start putting people's last names in my contacts.
obviously people send a dick pics, but it's like can be vulnerable, and it's a little easier than being face to face with somebody. So why don't we use that to our advantage, right? And here's an example of that. So she, like, this girl is super, out of shape, overweight, and she's like, she's being coached by my girlfriend. My girlfriend's like, you need to send me your meals. I need to know what you're eating. She spends all this time to construct a custom meal plan for this girl. And then she sees the pictures that this girl's posting, and she's not following the meal plan. She's got potato salad and fucking carbohydrates and shit. And
self-sabotage.
She's like, what the fuck are you doing? So she, as a good coach would, that a girl, if you do things right, but smack on the head if you're fucking up. So basically, she reprimands her and says, what's the situation? She didn't really bark too hard, but she was like, look, what's the deal here? I'm coaching you. You want results. Help me help you.
Are these all your lunches? You mean you eat other people's lunches? Stop it!
So basically, the girl gets super vulnerable and tells her, like, that she's never, dude, this girl's 32 years old, bro, and she loses her mom. Her mom's obese. She's obese to the point she's never fucking had a boyfriend in her entire fucking life, dude.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
She's never had a boyfriend in her life. She told my girlfriend what she wanted. She didn't care about how she looked. She just wanted to be attractive enough that a man would desire her so she could have a fucking boyfriend, dude.
Man, yeah,
that shit fucking hit me hard. It hit, my girlfriend was in tears. She was like, this is the stuff that, like, why I do my job and why I feel like people are afraid to get real about shit. And if you're not getting real, you're just blowing smoke. You're never going to get to the source of what's going to change you, because all you've done your whole life is surround yourself with crutches and pills and vaccines and Band-Aids.
Magic bullets.
And magic bullets. And until we have the guts to stand up and talk about the real shit and know that, dude, who am I to fucking judge anybody who puts their heart on the line and speaks their truth? Like a woman like
God
that,
bless her, man.
to speak that fucking truth like that, you'd have to be the lowest of the lowest fucking asshole to judge a woman like that.
No, for sure.
Like I would smack a guy who would say anything bad about her, because that's the most sweetest thing. I've got daughters, and for a person to be that vulnerable, man, that to me, like, deserves a round of fucking applause.
No, for sure. And again, like, as we're speaking about it, it's not so much we're talking down to people who are making poor lifestyle decisions. Of course. We're talking down to the people who are knowingly doing it and then expecting somebody else to take control of it for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there are, and again, I'm going to speak straightforward on this one. There are so many problems in the world that are out of the control of anybody. You know what I mean? Like, it's what we do with those problems that either excel us or put us to the side. You know what I mean? Like, and again, we all know what we want. You know what I mean? Like, most of us, we want to have money, we want to have a car, we have a relationship, we have kids. I mean, basic stuff in life. Getting there is a decision you have to make. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to sit there, walk you up. This is your husband, this is your car, this is your house, this is your job. You know what I mean? You have to go out and pursue that. You know what I mean? Like,
thank God.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what makes it all worthwhile.
Congratulations. Some people can't walk. You know what I mean? Like, you can think clearly. Some people have genetic issues where they can't even think. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a situation is we have to first appreciate who we are as a person and how lucky we are to even fucking wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wake up in the morning with a smile and a heart on. That's my favorite thing in the world. You know what I mean? Both parts of my life are good to go.
Which comes first?
I don't know. I think I smile because I have the heart on. But no, I mean, like, the whole thing is like, people like that, and everybody out there, you can do this. Don't let this pandemic, I think I can speak for both of us, don't let this pandemic sway you from who you are, sway you from what you can be, or sway you from the dreams that you want to pursue. Okay? It's tough for people. People are losing money. People are losing their jobs. People are losing friends. There's a lot of people out there. Yeah. You'll find out who your friends are. If they haven't checked on you, they more than likely are, they're an acquaintance. You know what I mean? They're not a friend.
Yeah.
So take this time, if you can. It's a national snow day that's in week 3.5, and really refocus your life on who you want to become, who you currently are, and how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and the main thing is just try to abstain, like fast. I did a fast from food, but don't just fast from food. Fast from anything that's external that could prevent you from letting the thoughts and visions, like, because Just like a virus, and the idea of the virus is so much more terrifying than the virus itself, right?
For sure.
Like, the ideas that you could have about your life are so much more powerful than other people's opinions.
For sure.
So you have to believe right now more than ever in fasting from these bullshit opinions that have no value and no place and no relevance in your life, and all this bullshit that's out there that's trying to terrify you.
Does the government control the weather? The answer may surprise you.
Hold tight to your sense of what your purpose is in this life. You were designed specifically. You're the product of 400 trillion sperm. You're 1 in 400 trillion sperm. You've already gone through the gauntlet of evolutionary, like
billions
shooting.
Years of evolution.
Yeah, billions of years of evolution. Like your purpose in this life. And like, look, they've tried to sabotage that because why? Because they know that every human life has a consumable value. Like if they can convince you that you need something, then they're going to make money off of you for the rest of your life. And the difference is like you will feel so much better about yourself when you realize that you're a creator more than you are a consumer. Yes, consumption plays a role in being alive, but if you produce more than you consume, that means that you're going to leave a legacy behind. You're going to, like you always say, Doc, when people ask you, like, what's the purpose in life? And you're like, I just want to leave it better than it was when I got here.
Exactly.
Yes, we are rocking and rolling today, right? Are you ready to get some food?
Yeah.
Boom.
So just a call on it, brother, if you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on.
Leave it better than when you found it. And that's my moral code. And again, I found that through several IV sessions of, you know, really self and, you know, self-growth, I guess you could say. Just really keep your head up during this time. Stay positive. And again, you know, Dave, I'm going to put everybody's hashtags in here. If you have questions, you know, feel free to contact Dave, right? You're cool with that?
Yeah.
Me too. We are going to provide some information, some links maybe at the end of this, maybe to the documentaries he talked about. And I want to thank Dave. Me and Dave went to Bolivia not too long ago. Yeah, it was quite an experience. We might be doing another podcast just to talk about that.
Oh, that was fun.
Excellent. How was it? The second time?
Better.
Yeah, it's more surprising. Pretty good.
Boom, did it.
Which was pretty goddamn cool. So, you know, thank you very much. The first guest on the No Bullshit Medicine podcast here, which, again, no holds barred, rock and roll, man. So, and look, Ivy ran out just in time. So
Bingo.
Perfect.
Bingo.
All right, my friend.
Remember, everybody, freedom is a frequency.
Exactly. Rock and roll.
Is that a toot?
Yes.